The rain didn't ask for permission that night. It arrived like a confession, whispered too late, drenching the empty streets and the quiet hearts hiding behind closed windows. When Ayan stepped onto the balcony, the first drop touched his skin like a memory he had tried to forget. Somewhere in the city, beneath the same restless sky, Meher was breathing faster than usual, unaware that the rain was about to stitch their broken timelines back together. Ayan and Meher had once believed their love was unstoppable. They met years ago in the simplest way, through long conversations that began with laughter and ended with silence that felt comfortable. They were two ordinary people with extraordinary dreams, both carrying wounds they never spoke about. For Ayan, it was the pressure of responsibility that came too early, the weight of being the pillar for everyone else. For Meher, it was the fear of abandonment, born from promises she had seen broken too many times. When they fell in love, it felt like rain after a drought, sudden, intense, and life-giving. But love, like rain, can also flood what is fragile. The challenges came quietly at first. Ayan's career demanded more time, more sacrifices, more distance. Meher tried to understand, tried to be patient, but the nights grew longer and lonelier. Messages went unanswered, calls became shorter, and the warmth they once shared slowly cooled. They argued not because they hated each other, but because they were scared. Scared of losing what they had, scared of admitting how deeply they needed each other. The night they parted was dry and suffocating, without a single cloud in the sky. Words were said that didn't mean what they sounded like. Pride stood taller than love, and silence won the final argument. They walked away, believing it was the only way to survive the pain. Days turned into months, and months into years. They learned how to smile again, but the smiles never reached their eyes. Somewhere inside, the rain waited. Now, years later, the midnight rain returned, heavy and relentless, as if the sky itself was tired of holding back. Ayan found himself walking without knowing where he was going, letting the rain soak through his clothes, washing away the careful control he wore every day. Each drop felt like a question he had avoided answering. Was he truly over her, or had he simply learned to live with the ache? Meher stood at a bus stop, the rain blurring the city lights into soft halos. She had told herself she was strong, that she didn't need closure, yet her heart raced the moment she saw a familiar silhouette across the street. Time slowed, the rain grew louder, and the world narrowed down to two people breathing the same wet air after years of silence. When their eyes met, there was no dramatic music, no perfect words, just a shared exhale heavy with everything they had never said. They stood there, rain dripping from their hair, emotions rising like steam from the pavement. Ayan spoke first, his voice unsteady but honest. He admitted how fear had made him distant, how he thought providing a future meant sacrificing the present. Meher listened, rain mixing with tears she no longer tried to hide. She confessed how her silence had been a shield, how she had needed reassurance but didn't know how to ask for it without feeling weak. The rain didn't stop them, it protected them. In that moment, soaked and vulnerable, they faced the challenges they had once run from. They talked about misunderstandings that grew because of assumptions, about love that didn't disappear, but went quiet, waiting to be heard again. Forgiveness didn't arrive instantly, but it arrived honestly. Not as a grand gesture, but as a choice, made breath by breath. They walked together through the rain, not rushing, not promising forever, just sharing the present. Each step felt lighter than the last. The city around them glistened, reborn under the streetlights, and for the first time in years, the future didn't feel like a burden. It felt like a possibility. By the time the rain softened into a gentle drizzle, something had changed. They understood that passion alone could not sustain love, and distance alone could not destroy it. What mattered was the courage to communicate, to listen, and to stay even when staying felt difficult. The rain had reminded them that storms are not meant to break us, but to cleanse what has grown heavy inside. As dawn approached, the clouds began to thin, leaving behind a sky that felt wider and kinder. Ayan and Meher stood quietly, watching the last drops fall, their breaths calm, their hearts steady. They didn't know exactly where their journey would lead, But they knew one thing with certainty. Love, when nurtured with honesty and patience, can survive time, distance, and even silence. The rain finally stopped, but its message lingered. Sometimes, the deepest passion is not found in perfection, but in the willingness to return, to face the storm together, and to believe that even after the heaviest night, a new morning is always possible. Begins with the silence that followed the rain. The kind of silence that feels louder than thunder. Morning light crept slowly into the city, touching the wet roads and tired buildings, as if checking whether the night had healed anything at all. Ayan woke up with the strange feeling that something unfinished was breathing beside him, not in the room, but inside his chest. The memory of Meher standing in the rain replayed in fragments, her eyes steady, her voice trembling yet brave. For the first time in years, he didn't push the thought away. He let it stay. Meher, on the other side of the city, sat near her window watching the sky clear. The rain had washed the dust from the world, but inside her, emotions were still unsettled. Meeting Ayan again had reopened doors she thought were sealed forever. She wasn't afraid of loving him anymore. She was afraid of losing herself again. The challenge before her was heavier than before. It wasn't about whether love existed, but whether love could grow without repeating old wounds. Days passed, slow and cautious. Ayan and Meher exchanged messages that were simple yet loaded with meaning. No dramatic confessions, no late-night promises, just honest words about their days, their fears, their mistakes. Ayan struggled with unlearning his habit of disappearing into work whenever emotions felt overwhelming. Every time he felt the urge to retreat, he remembered the night of the rain and chose differently. Meher faced her own battle, resisting the instinct to test his commitment with silence or distance. Trust did not come naturally, but she practiced it like a fragile skill. They met again, this time in daylight, in a quiet cafe where the windows still carried marks of dried rain. The conversation was not easy. Old pain surfaced, sharp and uncomfortable. Meher spoke about how lonely she had felt, how loving him once made her doubt her own worth. Ayan listened without defending himself, a challenge that stretched him more than any argument ever had. He realized that love wasn't proven by grand sacrifices, but by presence, especially when it was inconvenient. Just when it seemed like they were moving forward, life tested them again. Ayan received an offer that required him to move away, the same kind of opportunity that had once pulled them apart. Fear returned, heavy and familiar. Meher felt it instantly, the old panic clawing at her chest. This time, however, neither of them ran. They chose to confront the challenge together, talking through every fear, every possibility. It wasn't about choosing love over dreams or dreams over love. It was about finding a way where neither had to disappear. The decision was not perfect, but it was real. Ayan chose to delay his move, not as a sacrifice, but as a statement that love deserved time and effort. Meher chose to believe him, even though belief still scared her. They understood that challenges would keep coming, but so would choices. And this time, they promised to choose honesty over pride. Chapter 2 closes with them walking through the city once more, the streets dry now, yet still reflecting light. There was no rain, no dramatic sky, just two people learning how to stay. The message settled quietly between them, powerful and clear. Love is not proven in moments of passion alone, but in the courage to face the same fears again and respond differently. And sometimes, the greatest healing begins not with the storm, but with the calm that follows it.